Woo, yeah. Welcome back, guys. This is Eric here at the Guitarsenal. We've taken a little bit of a sabbatical, and I apologize for the lack of content. We've just been a little busy and preoccupied, other things going on. But welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at a very, very special and rare amplifier. This is a 1962 Fender twin amp, and not to be confused with a twin reverb. This is a very, very special amplifier capable of getting a wide variety of different sounds. And may I add, it will do so quite loudly. Right now, it's not on a stupid volume. Let's see, main channel and the other bridge channel are on about 4. And it's 85 watts of pure terror. In fact, I want to say these brown face ones might even be closer to like 100 watts, but it's a very high wattage, high power, very loud and beautiful sounding amplifier. If you can tame the beast, they're capable of some really beautiful sounds. And we've got a nice Strat tone dialed in here on the twin. And this is technically in the brown face era for Fender. So this has blonde Tolex. Fender did some blonde amplifiers. I know they did some Bassmans, the piggyback Bassman combos and heads. They did in a blonde configuration. I know some of the Tremoluxes and a few of the amps back then had blonde Tolex. The twin amp is probably one of the rarest blonde amps that Fender ever made. These things are pretty valuable. I had to do some considerable horse trading to get into this one. And Jeff up at Andrews Amp Lab had to do a good bit of work on this amplifier. It had a blown transformer. Both of the speakers needed to be reconed. They are original 1960s JBL 120s. So one of the things that Fender was dealing with these amps is the early ones were coming back with blown speakers left and right because the amp is just so powerful. So they wound up running a lot of the JBL speakers because it was a speaker that was really designed to handle the additional just volume and power of this amplifier. It is a 6L6 driven setup, so it's a big old behemoth. I mean, it's full of tubes. And you can jump the channels on this one. We do have the channels jumped. It does have a presence control. You've got, obviously, the really classic pitch shifting, or not pitch shifting, but harmonic vibrato that's on these amplifiers is really nice, or tremolo, I should say, specifically. We'll give that a listen here in a moment. And they're just really special amps. And when you bridge the channels, it's very interactive, okay? All we have is a little bit of splash of reverb from a Strymon Flint. It is a dry amplifier. There is no onboard reverb. The dry signal sounds like this. We are on the middle pickup. This is a Fender standard Stratocaster with a factory rosewood neck. These are Fender Fat 50s custom shop pickups, and these pickups come standard in this particular guitar. Neck. Bridge. So it's dry as a cob in terms of reverb. You know, I like to have a nice splash of reverb in there. So there's the naked signal of the amplifier. When the inputs are bridged, they are very, very interactive. We've dialed in a really nice tone. I don't really want to change a terrible amount, but it does have a lot of bass on tap. If you've got a guitar that's especially bright, you can really tame that brightness. The presence control is a really welcome feature on these amplifiers. I strongly recommend, if you are going to get one of these, just remember they're loud, very, very, very loud, very, very clean, even on the top end. I'm not going to really attempt to crank this thing too much louder. We might do a future video where I take this thing outdoors because it'll shake this entire building when it's turned up. And we are going to turn it up just a little bit more. It will start to crunch, but remember the Twin is really known as being just a really clean platform. Super clean, super articulate. It's not really intended for a lot of gain, okay? There was one tour that Joe Bonamassa was going on, okay? And Joe ended up buying, I want to say about 3 or 4 of these dang things. He bought a bunch of them, right? And he was going to take them on tour and use them because, gosh, they just sound wonderful. But they just didn't really get the sort of growl that he liked out of his twin, high-power twin tweeds, okay? So remember, this amp is in between blackface and tweed. So it's not quite like a tweed twin, but it's not quite like a blackface twin either. It's sort of its own animal, okay? Very, very special amplifier. And the presence control, super, super cool. You could really dial in almost some Marshall-like clean tones out of this. And the JBL, in terms of the speakers, just one thing you need to know about the speaker in this amp. The JBL 120s are very mid-range heavy. They're very girthy. And they've got this sort of compressed, sometimes ice pick high end that can get a little out of control if you let it. But it's a real mid-range heavy amp, and I love the mid-range in the brown face series of amplifiers. I do have a concert amplifier. It's great, the Fender Concert, and this is a wonderful amplifier, and it definitely belongs within the Holy Trinity. Well, really, there's more than 3 amps, but the Holy, you know, whatever you call a Holy Trinity that has 5 of them. All right, I'm a redneck. I don't know what all those fancy terms are, but when you talk about, if you were to say, what are the top 5 amps that Fender's ever made? Well, that's pretty easy, right? This amp is definitely within the ranks. I think every studio or serious musician who likes to record, or just if you're a collector and you love these types of amps, everybody who collects Fender amps, or even studios, musicians, whatever, if you love these types of amps, the Twin is definitely one that belongs in every collection. Whether you buy a tweed or a brown face or a nice old blackface amp, they all have their own little quirks. Now, one of the most special features of this amplifier is the vibrato. It's a harmonic vibrato. I'm going to go ahead and turn the knobs up on the vibrato. Let's give it a listen. And then we'll crank it a little bit as well. So, all right, I'm going to walk in front of the camera like a complete tool here. All right, let's get that speed up and intensity. If we get the speed on about 3 or 4 and get our intensity up kind of high, we're going to get almost kind of a quasi-univibe thing going on. Let's give that a listen, please. This is where these amps shine, is the beautiful vibrato. I tell you what, I'm going to hit a Love Pedal JTM to give me a little bit of Marshall presence on this. All right. All right, neck pickup. That is so cool, man. It's like a spaceship taking off when you hit a chord on it. It's just so neat. All right, let's try a different trim sound. Guys, we are going to do a video on this in the future. We're going to manipulate the volume. Oh, I lied. This thing's on 5, so it's halfway up. Tell you what, let's get that intensity down a little bit and get our speed up. Not halfway, and I'll tell you what, we're going to crank this thing up to 7. Oh boy. We're going to get a little bit of compression, as if there's not enough beautiful, glorious compression already. I'm going to give Chad a moment to adjust his microphone levels if this thing peaks. So just give us a moment here. Just going to pop the low E. All right, this is the amp on 7. We're rattling the walls here. Holy Moses. All right, let's kill the vibrato, trim, whatever. Listen to that sound there, and I'll tell you what, we're going to kill that all the way, leave our settings where it's at. Let's go to the point of no return, boys and girls. 9. Niner! 9! Oh boy. My soul's not ready. I don't think yours is either. Or I'm gonna back off on that tone. I'm worried these JBLs are a little thrashy with the bridge pickup on the Strat. I'm gonna break out a little bit of the tone. I'm gonna pop this low E, Chad, and just listen to the mic. All right, here we go. They can hear this down the road at the gas station. All right, one thing I want to make note of, I'm picking very soft. I'm not picking very hard. I'm using my fingers. And the amp just kind of grabs the notes out of this guitar and just fills the air full of sound. It's moving so much air. It's just something about playing a loud, high wattage amp on full volume. You can see why Joe Bonamassa likes these amps, because they respond beautifully to touch sensitive playing. Son, let me tell you, woo! This is a almost religious experience I'm going through right now, playing this thing. I mean, that type of amp, the way it's running right now, right in there, if you can play it that loud. Guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. I'm going to turn this sucker down. I know it's an old man thing to say. Turn it down, you young whippersnappers. All right, get it back down to the normal area. Now we're just normal loud. We're not extra loud, because it's still loud no matter how you run it. But guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. This has been a look at this particular 62 twin amp. They are wonderful, wonderful amplifiers, and I'm so lucky to get to own this one, and hopefully we can use it for some pedal demos and things like that. It's very different than the Super Reverb that I'm used to using. It's very loud, very beautiful sounding, and a very worthy opponent, if you can tame it. So guys, thank you very much. We post every Monday and Friday here on Guitarsenal. Make sure you tune into our videos. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. I'm gonna make a little more racket. What a great Strat tone that we've got dialed in on this thing. So this is just one guitar. Maybe in the future video, we'll demo it with some different guitars, but for now, this has just been a Strat. Buddy, cannot go wrong. Have a great day. We'll see y'all next time.